I caught you right as you were, and we're live.
Hey, everybody. We're live.
Remote.
You didn't see that. That's not real life. We're remote, as you can tell. That's why I'm talking louder for some reason. I don't even know why I'm talking like you can't hear me. Um, Isaac is, where are you? Somewhere hidden?
I'm in Montgomery.
Home. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm at home. Busy weeks, New Year's, Christmas, etc. Big things. PGF happening next week. First things first, though, got to thank the Musgrove Trial Firm, 678-226-1994. Man, I was actually talking about some stuff like this with some of the students today. In situations where you're maybe dealing with insurance companies or other people that have like legal people on their side, it's always a good idea to get at least a consultation with somebody. I'm not even telling you have to go with like Musgrove Trial Firm, but it's always like good practice to maybe talk to somebody and even see what's going on and what the case is, and if there's a better way or help you can get it all, So just anybody, go talk to somebody if you're in trouble dealing with insurance companies or different things like that, because you're out of your league unless you're in the game with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would tell you to go to Musgrove, but really anybody would be almost better than nothing. That's just life tip number one for the day, I guess.
That's a good one.
We got on a roll at 6 a.m., man. Stuff just came up and we were just
Legal representation.
it's important, man. It's important. People will take advantage of you, even if you don't think they will, or just things they're looking out for their best interests and their company and their clients and stuff like that. So, you need somebody that's going to be looking out for you, and so that's what I'm saying. Happy New Year, Mama Stackhouse. I see y'all been very busy doing a bunch of stuff. So
We postponed the holiday for the favorite child, the third and final child. We had to have Christmas late for her. So
it's hard
whenever.
being the best. It's tough being the best. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so sometimes people need to wait on you when you're so good. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad to see uh, all the stuff you guys are doing as a family. It looks fun and y'all look really happy. So that's cool. PGF though is coming this week.
Yep.
Basically
Combine Sunday, right?
Sunday night it'll start with Sunday with the official weigh-in morning or whatever, and then the combine Sunday night. So yeah, you can find all that stuff right here on BJJ 365. Isaac's going to be competing. I'll be up there working, doing some stuff with the desk, either like post show analysis, maybe some in match stuff. Sometimes I'm not sure. Just gonna go up there and try to be the utility player and help get it done, whatever we gotta do. So I'll be up there. A lot of other people, Egghead, all the guys, Wallow, I think they're gonna all be up there for the whole week.
It's gonna be one big jiu-jitsu party.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about how much it's gonna be. It's gonna be a ton of work, to get through it all too. It's not gonna be an easy week for the competitors, or for the people who are doing the desk work, or Brandon, or any of those other kind of people too. So if you haven't been following along, this season it changed again a little bit. Instead of 2 teams, there's going to be 4, and after the combine, those 4 coaches, well, I guess there's technically 5. Jake and Matt seem to be.
Are we counting them as one, or are we counting them as
that's
two
team.
people?
That's one team.
That's the team Elkins.
It's the Elkins team of Jake and Matt, and then Eli Knight, Drew, Eli's from Night Jiu-Jitsu. If you're familiar with him, a lot of people are. He's got a huge YouTube following, really, really good technique videos. Drew Weatherhead from Because Jitsu, the biggest meme page in jiu-jitsu history.
Now the first NFT creator in the space.
Yeah, he's did some stuff that nobody else has done in that way too, that I don't even think a lot of people understand, myself included. exactly all of that that's going on. So honestly, like it'll be cool to get up there and get some FaceTime with Drew. I've only been around him one time face to face a couple of years ago, so it'd be cool to catch up with those guys again. Eli also same time I saw them together, and then the last coach Sean Applegate, 10th man in Atlanta. He's got like 4 athletes that are in the bracket that are kind of people that train with him to a degree. I don't know if Elijah is like officially his guy or whatever you would say.
It sounded like Brandon was claiming more Elijah than even Sean was yesterday on the pre-show.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. And I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. And it's not like a good or a bad thing.
No.
But they do know each other very well and they've trained together. So the ins and outs, of being there should, work to get in his favor or against him, perhaps, if Sean's his coach or not. And depending on how hard maybe he'll coach against him. Like
that'll be interesting.
If your real life guy ends up on another team, would you coach someone who's not really on your real life team against your guy to win this competition?
Would you divulge, you personally as a coach, would you like tell somebody their trick or something like that? Is that what you're saying, or just purely just coach them?
Would you give them the scoop on what you need to do, or what, obviously,
right?
How far can you take that in such a short amount of time? Really,
you did that to me the other night. You had a guy that you coached like straight out of my like grade A submissions.
I love doing it in class because it makes you have to you being the other guy have to stay ahead and keep working when maybe the other student doesn't exactly know what maybe not even the right play, but a good play to make is from a given situation. So so I do that. I like to do that. I just coach against whoever's winning, really, most of the time, unless it's somebody who's getting one of the like a rare win or something like that, and then I won't try to take it away from them in that way. So I don't think I don't think there's any like thing you can say in this event that would make it like if I was a coach and you were competing and somebody else was on your other team, like there's not anything that's not a general answer that you give people kind of before competition anyway that I could say. Like your weaknesses or your strengths are, everything's kind of out there for the most part on film. And so you can just kind of make your own assumptions based on what you've seen before, and so obviously you're healthy or whatever. That's all I could know. So I couldn't just be like, man, he really sucks at when somebody tries to go for Kimuras or whatever, and then it's like, well, man, he would have already gotten Kimura a bunch of times in 32.
You should already know that. Like,
there's already 32 matches of you online in the PGF format. So it's not like a secret, of what a lot of your game looks like to people,
right.
And that doesn't mean that you haven't done other stuff in the meantime, but it's just that there's a lot of like stuff out there. So it's not like I can't just say. So that's one thing. I don't think Elijah being on his team or not will necessarily help or hurt Elijah, but maybe some of his younger students, it might be a little more impactful because they don't have as deep of an overall, game that they can play. So maybe that is part of it. Maybe they have such a relationship, that's a lot of what's helping them win is the coach student relationship. You know what I mean?
Well, and listening to Sean coach, he's really good at telling guys like, all right, this is what you're looking for. You're looking for this thing and this and that. But then like I heard Eddie when we were in LA talk about the fact that like he doesn't coach guys. He like guides. So like I guess that's what you're kind of like a blend between the two when you're thinking about it.
Well, some people it's just that some people don't like being the corner person, like in that moment trying to give out the information or whatever. Some people would rather be in the classroom, like setting out the game plan and stuff like that.
Right.
But in the moment that stuff gets a little hectic or whatever, and they're not the best at relaying information in that moment. And some guys are really, really good at being that person in the moment of relaying the information back and forth and keeping it concise and not going too far one way or the other. Because sometimes you can give away too much by speaking. The opponent can take away or whatever what you're trying to get your student to do if you just go way too deep or give away too much information. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword in a lot of ways. Some guys do both very well, but when you have that's the thing about it, is you got to have a relationship sometimes with somebody to know like what they're thinking when you're grappling. That's why we have a lot of those conversations after class where I said something when you were rolling or whatever, and you and you had another idea, right? And what I said may have messed you up because you didn't get the context based on the initial path you were going on. So now I've seen you and we talked about when you do this thing that used to confuse me. Now I understand more what you're thinking. So I'm not going to coach away from what you're doing, which I was accidentally doing sometimes because I didn't know where you were going already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it might have been a different path, but it was still like in the same, right. It's a different path.
My coach knows what I'll do well, but another guy would say, do this thing. And that's not in my game. And if I try that, it's going to get me in trouble, So that's a thing too. And I don't know, man. I know the competitors are going to take this all very seriously and compete hard. And it's not going to end up being a big deal and any of that kind of stuff, but it does add a layer of interest to it based on the draft and who do they pick? Do you pick your guys over other people that on paper would be better just because you want your team, and you know that you may get more out of this guy than other people can.
They're getting $500 in Bitcoin, so.
Right. And so now you are competing. That's what I'm saying. It's real. You want to win, I guess, in that way. And so would you want to take away from one of your students to win yourself? I don't know. We'll see.
The dichotomies play out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that can happen. It's not going to be like a nefarious plot. You know what I mean? It's not bad. It's just that this is what we're doing.
It's entertaining.
It's just a game. Yeah, exactly. It's like playing checkers.
Oh, here we go. Checkers. I heard somebody make I was in just some random room the other night training, and I heard somebody make the chess reference or whatever. And it was everything in me because no one in the room would have gotten the joke for me to be like, no, it's checkers. I didn't want to go off on the 30-minute rant, but it's funny.
People would have never forgotten you.
Hey, I don't know.
Mad.
Are you playing much chess these days, or are you just playing checkers?
That's it. It's all checkers. Anybody else is making it too complicated. Like, I can agree to play that game with you if you want to, but it's not really the game that I want to play. I'd rather play checkers. So, it's just a better strategic kind of game for me.
So what's your checkers analysis of the pack for PGF? I know you've probably read some of what Egghead said and whatnot. Do you have your top 5?
Let me pull up a list really quick. Hold on one second. So I'm not as direct. I have it.
I might be able to pull it up and share it.
All right, I think I have what it is. Obviously, man, not that I don't think people in this bracket can beat him. But you gotta give in the top 5, obviously, Elijah, because he's been so successful at such a level up to this point. So I think he'll pretty handily be able to finish in the top 5, unless he just has a really bad week. You know what I mean? Which
It can happen. Yeah.
It's possible for sure. It is. It is. And then looking at the list, obviously I would rank highly Elbow Genie. He's gonna have to be up there. He's gonna submit a lot of people. And I think going for having the experience that's from before is going to play a factor. And
do you think he choke hunts? Do you think he choke hunts or breaks?
This is my checkers analysis. Having gone through it already, I think he's just still going to be able to play his game, and he's not going to worry as much about what the submission is that he gets. He's going to take what's in front of him probably, which is the smartest route in this PGF season. It's not necessarily to let subs pass you by, because then all of a sudden that anxiety of having short time sometimes comes in, and you start missing and things kind of happen or whatever. So I think his like cool, calm demeanor, and understanding of how to do it is going to keep him in the game. And I see him finishing pretty high, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him win the whole thing, to be honest, personally.
Okay. So you got Jonathan Roberts sitting on top.
He's pretty high for me. He's pretty high for me, honestly. And I just like him as a dude. He's a really nice guy.
He's the nicest guy ever.
He came through and he won Mid-South last year, I think it was, at the 170s, right?
It was our first. It was our second one. I think it was our second one.
I don't know. And, just showed a different game in that than he was doing in the PGF. And now it's been another year and he's gotten his black belt since the last time. So he's just seasoned and learned a lot of lessons. He's competed in some bigger tournaments outside of the PGF. So like I have a lot of faith in Jonathan, and I'm picking a lot of favorites because they're favorites for a reason, So Caleb Mcallister is high on my list. I roll with Caleb at what was that? Which was that? Was that the seminars? It was in Jacksonville. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the group of seminars where Boogie Geo, Nate, and Brandon taught.
Okay, yeah.
We rolled there, and dude was really, really good. We rolled twice. That's how much I enjoyed the roll with him and how good I thought he was. I wanted to roll with him again that day because it was something I knew he wasn't from the area and it wouldn't be an easy thing to get to do again.
Right.
So I thought he's really good and really cool, and also like in the right situations, I think he's somebody that could win this, or at least win into the tournament and win the tournament. That's a different thing too. Winning the season will be different than winning the tournament.
Well, you're playing 3 different rule sets in the entire week.
Right, exactly, with the different time limits and stuff on each one.
Yeah.
And so that makes you have to be a different person, in those situations. And if you haven't spent time and done the work in any of the systems or the whatever you find yourself in, you're gonna be a little bit lacking. And I know Caleb and, like I said, Jonathan have both spent time, and Elijah also working in, the PGF format and also the EBI rules style formats. So that, they're not going to be lost. So being veterans, being, some of the higher level guys, those are my 3, like, I don't like to say locks because I don't want to put pressure on people,
Some of them may be asking for it.
They may want the pressure. They want it. That's why they're there, right? Respect to the dudes that are showing up here because, this is going to be pretty gangster week with, a lot of matches and a lot of different things going on. People beating you that may not be able to beat you or getting you to a 0, dude. You do not understand how emotional those zeros are when you win a match, or when you don't win, but you dominate.
But you just lose, yeah.
Like you did everything you could possibly do and had no trouble, like, handily getting through the match, and you just could not get the submission off, and you get a 0. You just can't understand how bad that hurts. Like,
who do you think the hardest to kill this season will be?
Oh, like just the toughest person to
Yeah, who's gonna be the one that like everybody's just like, I just can't kill that dude.
maybe Bulls.
Yeah, that dude, he comes at you full force.
He's wild. Like
Yeah,
he don't care. You know what I mean? And he's young enough and just skilled enough, but also at that raw enough level that like Evan last year will be able to hang out and take it where other guys might not want to. He won't
yeah.
care as much, maybe. So
He'll hit that barbed wire fence full throttle.
yeah,
Yeah.
and think he's gonna win too. You know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's gonna make every match he's in exciting, I believe. Even the top guys are gonna have to be ready to like put that kid away, in my opinion. And so that's gonna be he's gonna be really tough. One of the, I think other people I'm not sure what they ranked him at. I can't remember on the in the other drafts, but I feel pretty good about Kevin Sherrill, and in a lot of the matches.
He looked good in Atlanta. Like when him and Boyles got into a scrap that like I mean he can move and
Yeah, and looking at
he wrestled.
matchups, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the roster right this second.
Right.
I'm talking to you guys on my screen. Looking at matchups, he's going to be really tough matchup for almost everyone. I don't know enough about Evers to be honest and give him a big enough pat, but he may be way up there too because he looked really good at the Decatur one.
He's dangerous in the legs.
Yeah, and that was a really deep bracket. So that, I'm sure he's going to be pretty tough to handle. So if I had to pick a outside favorite to get in, I'm gonna go with Manning from Jacksonville as my dark horse person.
Like your wild card.
Maybe not to win the season, but to find himself pretty high up in the rankings where maybe not everybody thought that he would be able to get to. And I'm sure some people are going to surprise me. And hopefully you guys all get to stay healthy as you can throughout the week, because with these different matches and stuff. Oh, and the teams, what if you miss 2 or 3 of your toughest matches because they're on your team?
Yeah. And you don't have to deal with them until you get in the
playoffs, right? And so you can win it. So that's another factor like that too, is like, do guys end up on the same team with the only people that would give them a tough time, and dude, I was pretty high up on Dane Leak leading into all this stuff. And then I'm not like down on him or whatever, because Keith is obviously the man and he's at like this new elite level. But after watching the match with Keith Krikorian versus Dane Leak at the High Rollers, it kind of dropped his stock a little bit in my eyes, even though I know how good Keith is or whatever. I just know that there's other guys that are really high level like that in this bracket that we're in now, or in this season that we're in now.
Yeah.
And the amount, like the total amount of matches are going to be what may make some of that come out. I don't know him well enough to know, but he looked good enough at that Austin one that it really made me think that he had a chance coming over here and really doing a good job in the season. What about you, outside of yourself? Are you willing to divulge who you think outside of yourself has the best shots?
I think I agree on that top 3. I think that
that's pretty much almost everybody's top 3 to 5. Those guys are in top 5 somewhere.
Yeah, and I think I was listening to him talk about it yesterday on that pre-show of, I think that the real interesting battle, which this happens in so many different sports, that I think one of the interesting battles is going to be back there in the like 6th through 8. Like who are those back 3 that are going to have to duke it out? Because those are going to be the guys that have the hard fights, that have the hard days, bad days, or the guy that just got lucky, like you said, and through teams and whatnot gets through.
Dude, you got to be durable, man.
Yeah, like it's going to be a long week.
And so if people are getting in here and getting in these leg lock battles with each other and taking a little to give it, to win, then I think by match 10, you're going to see a steep decline in what they're able to pull off, at a certain level, because this has a lot more leg lock heavy guys based on the competition scene footage that I've had, or the competition footage that we have on them.
I mean, Austin, I don't think anybody walked out of there without a limp. I think everybody took some sort of a pop at the Austin.
And we had a couple of dudes, Elijah's obviously decent at his leg game. He's caught a couple really good people with leg locks.
Once or twice.
He's caught some really, really, really high level dudes with leg locks pretty quick. Like, he's caught some dudes fast that were really, really incredible. So, he's good. And then, man, rest in peace to our boy Zach Edwards. Was one of the best to do it. He was probably the best like leg locker in our group, I think, overall. Outside of that, I don't think I had anybody else that I thought to worry about with the leg.
Don't let them have my leg. Yeah. I think everybody in this division has a leg lock.
They're more sad. Like, and Randy now in this bracket that was in our bracket, he's gotten more savvy now than he was last year.
Well, we're smaller than you guys too. So like me attacking one of his legs is like, I don't know if that's really the move.
Well, he came through for something, one of the seminars, and did some training and stuff. And I noticed that he was getting in on legs on people in training, and just obviously trying to learn that part of the game, because the dude's legit and he's like a real high level grappler and cares. So obviously he's going to get better. And this is a thing, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just my personal bias on the idea of it overall, but he and Primo having those big weight cuts, I know that they're going to get a chance to like recover.
I mean, Primo was saying that it's 25 pounds,
right? Yeah.
And I know somebody as a weight cutter and as an MMA fighter, 25 pounds means that's really like maybe 30,
28,
right?
Yeah.
So like we'll see. Like I kept my weight down because I didn't want to have to make that cut.
It matters.
The whole point in all this was for me to get in fight shape. Yeah. So like I've been able to just put that in the back of my head, and for the first time in my competition career, I'm not thinking about the scale. And like a lot of times in my competing, like that's all I'm thinking about right now is just like, counting my calories and splitting everything. So like I'm not going in with that stress on my body. So I'm interested to see how I perform. I'm interested to see how those two have to deal with it for after, because most of the time when we do that to ourselves, you can amp yourself up for one fight. You can put yourself through it and be like, all right, I just got to make it through tonight and then I'm okay. If you got to do that every night, I get they get like a whole day to recover and whatnot. But that's gonna be
there's only just one way in, right?
Yeah.
But it's still overwhelming after that.
Right. You're still depleted to make that. Yeah.
So that's why I don't have them higher. The skill set wise, I would think that they're both really high level. And then obviously being bigger would be good in most scenarios. But I don't think that it's going to pay the best dividends overall with the people that we see in this bracket, maybe. And I may be surprised and I would eat my words and whatever, but I don't like the idea of losing that much weight that you can legit lose and get back in that amount of time. If you think 25 pounds in a day, like if that's legit, that's not, I don't think that that's a good strategy.
How much of a difference is it going to make on the top three though? Like it won't, in my opinion. Like that's where I agree with you.
That's what I'm saying. So
they've competed at those heavier weights, heavier than what you're going to get back to. So you're not going to surprise them with size.
Right.
And a lot of us, I mean, like you're one of my primary training partners. My other primary training partner is 280 pounds. I train with I train with one of them pretty regularly. Like the weight thing in jiu-jitsu, I get it in MMA. I don't necessarily get that much sacrifice for jiu-jitsu, but I may be wrong, and I may have to face both those guys, and I may come out and say, "Hey guys, guess what? They're really heavy."
Well, no, they are. They're both going to be really heavy, and they're both
Yeah.
going to be really strong, right? No doubt about that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, is the skill set then versus like, are they that much better than that person and bigger? And then the person's coming in, you, for instance, like you said, feeling good, relaxed mentally and stuff. Whereas maybe if you're having to cut 25 pounds today, you've been pretty miserable for about 6 weeks at this point to think that you're going to be able to pull off a 20-pound weight cut in a day. Because you can't do that if you haven't already been being pretty miserable.
Your body has to be ready. Your body will fight back if you do that to it. Yeah.
For a little while. So you've been sacrificing the technique. You've been sacrificing some of the good training for the ability to lose the weight and to maintain the ability to get the weight off. And again, I'm not saying that it doesn't work at all, because obviously people do it and find success with it. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's a good strategy overall when you have almost half of the field probably not doing it at all, not really having to worry about it.
Yeah.
So in a week of competition with, I forget how much, it's 16 matches. How many is it?
Let's see, 3 a night.
3 times 4.
4. Yeah,
12.
that's right.
So yeah, 12 matches in the week, and then potentially 3 to 4 more in the end of the week to get
Saturday.
through. I don't know, man. I don't know. People were getting hurt and banged up in our season pretty rough. By the end of it, a lot of dudes that were winning it were not doing very well by the end of the week. And so I don't know if that would have played directly into the end of the season tournament like it might for you. And we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, because some people may not make it to the tournament after they get through the season points-wise, because they get such a strong lead, and then they can't actually do it on Saturday because they got hurt on Thursday or Friday.
That's how likely, how high of a likelihood do you think that is? I was thinking, because that's the game we play, and I mean, somebody could.
I don't want it to happen, so I'm not going to put a percentage on it.
Okay.
But it is something that I've been aware of and thought about as a potential thing that can happen. So somebody else, like a season, like you said, the 9 guy or whatever, if he stays healthy, he may have a shot to jump in, because even number 2 or whatever may not be able to make it. Not that you'll get in because of number 8, but you may not, have to replace the number 2 guy or whatever because of some happenstance to where he can't go.
Because this is the first time we're doing it that way too. Where, I mean, every other time we've had this, there's been space between the finale and it's no, you've got to continue the tournament. Yay, you won. Now you got to do it again.
So it almost, I don't want to say there's no real value in the season winner this time, because there obviously is. Like it means something to win the
There'll
season.
be seeding, yeah.
But going straight into the tournament kind of takes away that like flex of it, because unless you win the tournament, you didn't really get to hold the title at all. Like you immediately went in and dropped the belt, so you didn't get it, whereas at least in the way we kind of did it for our season, when Hunter got through, he had time before the tournament to know, that he had won and got healthy and was able to come back and be healthy, be ready to go again. So it's just interesting. I'm not sure it'll really matter, but it definitely can.
Yeah, that's Egghead, the historian over here.
You can have to pull out of our finale, right?
Yeah, I think there was something.
Who jumped in for him?
For Jay?
Was it Evan?
No,
Evan made it on his own.
Yeah.
Where's Egghead at?
I don't know. The historian. I was waiting for Egghead's response if somebody in season 2 had to switch out. But I know that we had to do we have. They were talking about the fact that like guys are going to be alternates and whatnot.
Was
Because
it
like,
Primo
was that how Primo got? Was Primo in the
against
finale?
Elijah? Whoever Elijah's first round opponent was, right?
That would have been Primo, right? I don't know. Egghead was quick at this, but
I can't remember. I'll have to look that up. That's interesting. I forgot about that part too. But that, and then Matt got healthy between that time off. And
Wallow said it was Primo who jumped in.
yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that off time, then we saw one guy not be able to go, and then another guy get a chance to be able to be healthy. So it'll take away that in this game too. The guy that is healthy at the end of the week doesn't have the risk of getting hurt on the way to through a training camp for a finale. So, you know what I mean? There's a bunch of different like interesting new things if you're into it, like I am. There's a bunch of like weird little quirks that can pop up, and I want to see what everybody does. I love watching people like do stuff and make decisions. I want to know like what happens. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
You're just excited about the reality show side of this. You're excited about the human. There's no room for collusion here, Egghead.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's right. Nobody can do that stuff because it's bad for you. It's not what you should do.
What if you're a training partner of somebody who's on the opposite team? Would that be the same as like these coaches? Because a lot of us train together. Like a lot of us cross train.
I mean, you can. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I guess you could always like have that happen, but it takes away the incentive in this case. It takes away the ability for us to misunderstand the possibilities with scoring.
Yeah.
And it takes away some of the, what was the word? Chicanery. I don't know how you would say that. Chicanery, whatever. As he said, to where people it was really like confusing what the possibilities were last time. And so I think this time makes it pretty cut and dry about who can do what, and then the points for each team, like the block point mattered, and then also the overall team points at the night mattered. And and then you would get once because you could get a point off of losing somehow, and stuff like that. So the incentive was weird, and so yeah, taking that part of it away definitely makes it less interesting to do that with someone. What would you do? Who the people you train with that are in here? You're number 2 going into last day, but your homie, whoever, let's say Primo again, just because he got into the season on that other thing last season. You and him train together in Decatur quite a bit. Y'all know each other. We're familiar enough. He's just on the edge, and you're the last match. He's just got to get over. He don't even, dude. He just got to get an arm bar. He don't even got to choke you or nothing. Like he just got to get a tap, and he gets into the playoffs, man. He did all this work, man. That's your homie. You know how hard he worked, all that weight he cut, and all he's got to do is just get one on you, and then you can beat him in the playoffs if you need to, right? No big deal.
Yeah, I think this is where the lesson learned is though, that like if we don't go, you gotta kill, you gotta shoot the puppy.
And this is what I was saying about Jonathan Edwards and the elbow genie rule and how he's just gonna go. I know, Egghead, I still feel bad. Shut up. Every time it comes up, I want to do it again. I want to fight Sam right now. So
I was just the cameraman. I took a note out of the.
I know it was my fault. Whatever. I did it.
I'm just here to document.
Yeah, and now I'm here to just do whatever again. Just being aware of the possibilities now makes it interesting. But Jonathan, having already went through armbarring everybody, yeah, I think again he's one of my top.
But he didn't have the 4 points last time, right? That was just 3 points. That's so now it could
just choosing what you want is gonna don't skip something unless you just think you're gonna dunk on this guy
I think even then it's a mistake. I think even if you think that, because I mean, it happens to all of us in training. You're like, I won't do that submission. I'm going to do something else. And then you look up and you realize that there's only 30 seconds left, and you're like, crap, I thought I was going to submit this guy. So like, I think passing it up in any scenario is the wrong move this week or for this competition.
You may need it though. What if on Friday you need 6 points? Right? And you didn't, now you got to try to choke somebody. That's hard, and you could have did it on.
Hey man, live by the 3, die by the 3. So like,
that's what I'm saying though, right? So, but then you're gonna be trying to throw Hail Marys on Friday, telling them I'm gonna have to get this choke in order to make whatever work.
I was making a basketball reference with that 3-point thing. That I understand that there's more than point. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, but I feel like that if you're trying to get hung up on the points,
you down there, take a field goal.
Hit a hit. Yeah.
That's you still score. You can win 3-0.
Right.
You can. Right. That's the thing.
But you can lose 12-9 too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even 6-3.
Yeah.
So
math. See, I did pay attention.
Fractions. Yeah, so that it's dude, it's gonna be really interesting the bracketology, if you will, of it, the math as it plays out day to day is like everybody's running over there to look at the numbers. Like even you don't know how everybody did because you just saw, 10 matches or whatever, and then you don't know how it just stacked out. It's like Isaac won, but he just had 2 zeros maybe. But he felt like he won 2 matches because you dominated him, but you didn't actually get the score. But in the mind of watching it, you're like, man, he just crushed that guy. But he didn't actually score. So you look at the bracket, it's like, oh, shit. Somebody else is way up here above him. And then now Isaac's feelings are hurt. He's got to go out and tear the head off of some poor next person,
That's the
goal. Are you
goal.
going to rage?
Am I going to rage?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really rage for jiu-jitsu, but yeah, I'm trying to kill.
That one almost made me spit my drink out. I don't know why. What do you rage for?
Touche. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's people that find it uncomfortable how relaxed I am before competition sometimes. Like, I've had coaches that are like, why are you not more amped? But I feel like that if I'm amped, I get excited. If I get excited, I make bad decisions. And in the situations I'm going into, I don't need to be making bad decisions. So I try not to be amped. But I am coming into this with a different intensity, especially than I did with I kind of was pretty aware of the waters that I was wading into with the qualifiers. And after I injured myself, I was very aware of what I was doing to myself. So I was trying to come at that a certain way, and I'm not coming at this week the same that I came at that one. So I am going to come in with a different intensity, but my game is like you said, there's footage out there of me. There's no surprise that's coming, but I don't know. I like to do weird stuff, and I like for people to be confused. So that's kind of mostly what you can expect.
Yourself and then just see what happens, right? Just
that's my learning process.
Start seeing what happens. No, man, I think everybody's gonna see a different side of your game than they got to see throughout the season, obviously because of the ankle being such an issue. Having to worry about that literally in every match against everybody, and then training around it, trying to improve without being able to use one foot is kind of tough with some of the stuff we were trying to work on and different things like that. So now with the benefit of time, I think you've solidified some of the stuff that you needed to, and then added a couple of wrinkles that'll maybe catch some people off guard in certain scenarios where they're used to a certain thing that may happen that won't happen, So
I'm excited to play the game.
Yeah, I honestly, as coaching you in the room, sometimes I feel like I have to always be cautioning you against it. It's like the parent.
Oh yeah.
It's like, man, don't
ask my parents. Ask my father.
I bet they have so much patience, man. I feel like I don't understand them. When I see how your mom talks about y'all, I'm like, wow. I wish somebody would talk about me like that. I was like, I know you have practiced so much patience to get to where you're at. So, but that's cool though. You know, it's my job to say as your coach to try to guide you to the path that I think is best. But then also, you know, when you find something that works for you and you know it works, then we gotta go down that road.
Well, I think that's what you preach too a lot. I mean, coming from the freaks, a lot of what I love about what I've found in the 10th planet system is that like guys are like everybody kind of has the same language, but then everyone has their own little flavor. It's like, oh yeah, he does his this way, but this is how I do mine, and then you now have what you can put together as yours. And so, like for the first time to me, training in jiu-jitsu, like the jiu-jitsu felt like mine, and it didn't feel like I was just copying moves that some dude was talking about that I didn't really understand, and I was actually pretty bored in his class, to where like now I'm just taking things that people are teaching and going, oh, that's your flavor on it. All right, I added to this Rolodex of things I got back here. Like it's been interesting to see that and like see kind of how you've pushed that.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's I want you to have your own game. It is yours. Once even whatever I teach you, after a certain point, it still becomes like yours if you want to teach it to somebody else. You know, because you can mimic the things I say and stuff or the movements I make or whatever as much as you want, and but until you've kind of lived that philosophy part of it out yourself, you know, it's still kind of hollow when you're presenting it to people. So once you get it from me and you really have it for yourself, then it's not the same thing anymore. Even though it is what I gave you, you know what I mean? It's the thing that I taught you, but you've now made it an interpretation that fits you and your own personal story, so to say. And I think that's like our job as a God. You know, I'm not like, again, I said I'm not like your Lord and Master or something like that. I'm your God. It's my job to like.
When do we get the robes?
Right, exactly, man. It's on the way. It's on the way soon. 3 to 6 years, I think we'll have enough where we can switch over. But for now, I got to keep saying this stuff to where people will buy in.
I got you.
But you know, but that's the thing is that I think honestly, like I really want to show you stuff that I like a lot, and then the things that I think are most important that I know, and then that's why I like to bring in other people to come do these seminars and different things like that too, so that you can see, you know, other things that people are doing besides the things that I do. But then also sometimes people come in and they'll
say the same thing.
They'll do things the way I do it, and it's like interesting. Sounds like your boy here knows a couple things about that their jiu-jitsu stuff, and that's always good too. When I would go out and do seminars, sometimes I would kind of feel bad sometimes if I would just be like going over the same stuff the coach went over before. But then I realized, kind of like you're saying, even if it is something that their coach does, if it is something that I also do well, then it's good for me to still go and either reinforce much of the same message, because if it is a general thing, we both would probably have a lot of the same general ideas, but the specifics is where you would differ a little bit. And then now if you go get that, then now you have more specifics than I have. And that doesn't make what they say right or what I say wrong. It just makes it more information. You know, it's kind of like every study that you do, you know, you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you learn like more context, more information. It's not always do it differently. Sometimes it is do it differently, but it's do it differently because of whatever the, you know, change in the dynamic that I will present is versus the one that you may present to people when you're teaching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and like when I started, I mean, when I realized that like I was paying attention to the right things and like kind of understanding and wrapping my brain around it, it was like when I would sit in rooms like yours, or like I would go with you to like some of the seminars and hit the like I'd hear something that I had organically taught somebody just because I was the one teaching in that room that day or whatever. I would hear that get repeated and I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm not a complete moron.
No, for sure. Like definitely there's been things that it's like, I always do this particular thing and I've told people to do it. And other people were like, nah, nah, and they argued against it. And then we go somewhere to a seminar or whatever, and then this other higher level person that everybody thinks is like way, way better, they teach the system that I do.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, and it's like, man, I have been saying this for so long, but it didn't really matter until this other person, you heard it from them. But then also for me, sometimes that lets me know that, hey, you should double down on that thing because look, he agrees with you too.
He's the same thing,
You know
right?
what I mean?
And
So
it's not like a, oh man, like no, I was here first. It's like no. This makes both of us better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I didn't make any of this shit up. I got a lot of it from somebody else, and I don't remember what all came from my brain, and then what came from something somebody else said that I've said so much that now it's a thing I say.
Some guys are really good about that. Like some guys are like, "Hey man, this guy showed me this in 1982 in a garage after
There's
like
some
this."
stuff like
I
that.
can't. I don't remember things that way. I'm
Like
just like, "Yo, I know this thing and I know it works."
there's like this, and this ties into a different kind of thing, but like the emotional learning kind of concept or whatever,
Yeah.
like anything that you learned in like a big moment where it was like really tied to some heavy like emotional thing or whatever, those are probably the ones you remember, the ones that gave you that big like pop the most. But then there's a bunch of little filler details that some other white belt in class told you or whatever when y'all were just starting out. And it's like, yeah, that I don't know who told me to put my elbow here, but I've been doing it for 10 years now. And it was actually just some random ass white belt in class that had been there the week before when coach talked about it. You know, and he just remembered it too. You know,
and he put it in the right words for
right,
you. To where you're like,
he said it the way you would understand it. You know,
right. Yeah, that's mom made a good point over here. She said that when like this, when you've taught somebody something and then you see them do it organically, like even if you're not there, like I've had that happen a couple of times where like I'll see like somebody do something in a video and I'm like, oh, I know for a fact I taught you that. That's cool.
Yeah, and like I don't even need the credit, like
no, yeah,
outwardly or whatever. It feels good to see it and like to see that they were able to be successful with it. It's like, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And that's like a little mini win for myself as much as, you know, and that's the thing. You want to see everybody else win. You know what I mean? Don't go out there and try to give them the BS. You know what I mean? You got to try to give them your best stuff every day. Even if that's, you know, whatever, even if it's disagreeing with them sometimes and not, and, you know, sometimes I've had to like buckle down on people and be like, listen, man, this is not what I'm saying. Like, I don't want you to do this.
I don't know who you're looking at.
I don't want you to do this way. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can do that, but I don't want that. I want this.
Not this pathway today.
Right. It's like just, you know, and then sometimes, and then they can do whatever they want when they're somewhere else. Whenever you're doing whatever you want, you know, and you do it your own way, you know, but when you're in my house, so to say, then this is the way I want to see it try to play out.
If you're trying to learn the pathway, like if you're
right, if
like,
you want me to be your teacher,
yeah.
If I'm your teacher, then you must trust me with what I'm trying to say, at least enough to humor me with a legit attempt.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least give me a real try.
Because I'm trying, like you're trying to guide them down the path of, you know, here's the path I went down.
Yeah.
Try a few along the way, and then eventually you'll find your own. Like, yeah.
Right. This was pretty easy, right? This is the one I found that was the easiest. But But yeah, you could do that one. It seems pretty hard to me compared to this one.
Where I fell off that one.
Yeah. I know a guy who did that one, and he's dead. So, like,
I wouldn't go down that road.
I'm just saying, you can do it. I saw a guy do it, but he also is dead now. So that's up to you. Choose wisely who who you're willing to listen to, and who's telling you stuff and stuff like that. And again, this is why I don't mind y'all going out fact checking me, because I want to be right. You know what I mean?
What's it like being a parent in 2021 when you can get Googled? Does Thomas Google you yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I don't tell anything that I think of that's like a.
Okay. Oh, come on. You don't ever make a like, hey, Dad, what does the cow do or something? You're like, oh yeah, and you didn't have any of those things that you believed from a childhood that an adult just made that fact up.
I think I say I don't know.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Or I'll tell or if I think I know, I'll say what I think. And if that's something that's not true, then it's not because I know that it's a lie.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just tell them some shit just to have an answer.
But that never happened to you though? Am I the only person that has like?
Oh yeah, I know people
Okay.
tell me stuff. But see, that's what. Okay, that's
find out 20 years later. You're like, oh my god, I believe that my whole life.
That's what I'm saying. That's one of the things I'm pretty big, like, against. And
right.
I don't want to say against. I'm just pro. I'm pro admitting you're ignorant about something. That's not a negative thing. People are like, man, if you say somebody's ignorant, they're like, man, fuck you. And it's like, no, dude, you just don't know anything about this subject yet. That's all I'm saying. You have a uneducated answer to this thing that you don't understand. Let me fill you in. And now if you still have that same thing, you say, now you're stupid, right? But if you don't have the information, that's when you're ignorant. So that there's a difference, and I'm trying to help you get the info. I don't want you to be ignorant. And now if you choose to be stupid, that's up to you. Right. I'm just trying
your choice.
Yeah, that's up to you, right?
Okay.
What you choose to do with it, it's up to you, And I'll tell you now that it's a fact that there's been tournaments I've went to as far as listening to coaches where I've done what the coach asked exactly and lost. And then the next time I didn't do what he asked because I was going to do the opposite thing, and it didn't work then either. The opposite thing didn't work. You know what I mean?
So they both can be wrong.
It could be in the wrong situation or whatever, or in the right, just different
context.
Times. You can correct wrong and be doing the right thing again. The opposite answer may not be the right answer either. So, like, that's the thing.
Not always the better. Yeah.
There is no definite yes or no. There is like, this is what you should try to do. And I'm speaking like specifically like maybe an EBI overtime rounds or whatever, taking the back versus going for the arm. I'm way better at the arm. I'm way better at finishing and controlling and getting stuff from there. So that's usually what I would go for. And then I, was like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for it. And then I would lose it when the coach said to take the back. And it's like, all right, next time I'm gonna listen to what coach says, and I take the back, and then I still lose because they escape faster from the back because I didn't have as much control as I did with my armbar play, usually. And then what makes it right or wrong? Just the fact that I didn't win. If I got them both, then then it
worked. Yeah,
they both work. It's like, but so that, I don't know. It's this ongoing like mental exercise of non-committal stuff. Like, you got to constantly be just like offloading trash from your mind to be good at jiu-jitsu. Like, there's so much stuff coming at people, what you could do, can do, should do. This is what I do. But you really got to just offload all the trash and just take what's valuable to you and carry it with you in a backpack. That's really what it is, right? You don't want a whole house full of jiu-jitsu. You want a backpack full of jiu-jitsu. It's not chess, it's checkers. You don't.
It's almost like you said it.
You don't need all that extra stuff that people are making you do. Just make it simple. Don't move your back row, and they can't beat you.
Okay.
Promise. So that's the biggest answer. I've said it a few times now. I'm starting to hone in on it. I got my guy right here. I'm studying. Let me pull his name up again. My man, Marion Tinsley. This man was the Leonardo da Vinci of checkers, right? He beat computers. He was the checkers champion from 1955 until 1991. Never lost a world championship match, ever.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right. He beat the computer. The computer only beat him twice, ever, when he was playing like in front of him. So,
okay.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Does he have a book or anything on checkers?
I just found that Zach just told me who he was this morning.
All right.
We're talking about stuff this morning already. I was already on my shit.
We'll have to dig into the checkers champion.
Oh, I am. I'm gonna try to he's like a mathematician. You know what I'm saying? So he's like a super intelligent. That's what I'm trying to figure it out here now.
Maybe I wasn't given the pastime at Cracker Barrel the proper due
most
that
people
it was.
People confuse complication with sophistication, and it doesn't always make it so. Sometimes simple is sophisticated. Sometimes the easiest path is the best path. You don't have to do all this extra work. If you enjoy doing all that extra stuff, sure, go for it.
It's pretty.
You can do it. They're both board games that take pieces away.
And skills.
Right? Strategy kind of you want to use or whatever. I'm just not going to agree to play your game. I'm going to make it simple while you're trying to play this complex thing. I'm just going to jump over all your shit when you're trying to like slide around. There is no king on my board. There is no final move you can make to checkmate me.
Yeah, so I guess what happens when you play checkers against chess?
Huh?
What happens when you play checkers against chess?
Chess people don't want to play.
Ah, okay. Okay. On that note, Mid-South Classic.
I have no idea what any of that means, but it's where I'm going right now. I'm working on it. I'm working that bit out a little bit. But Mid-South Classic, dude, 16 purple belt and under, up to as much as they want to weigh.
Thick. These boys are thick. I've been seeing these pictures come across, man. Those are some biceps and forearms in those photos.
There's some dudes, and I was like, all right, man. I had to scale the picture down to make it fit my poster a couple of times. I was like, man. Dudes like sent me some fight poses. I'm like, bro, we ain't doing all that.
It's not that. That's like the guy at Naga warming up on top pads. I always wanted to do that.
Dude, just throwing flying knees and stuff. But yeah, this is 16. We got them. We got all 16 for this, and I got a list of about 3 or 4 alternates that are ready now. If anything were to happen, so we don't have that. Hopefully that thing where we're scrambling in the last couple of days and find somebody that's willing to sacrifice themselves to jump in and fill a bracket. You know, we got dudes that wanted to get in early, but that just didn't get in, based on
it was quick. This was the fastest one. We posted about it, and like my inbox was full with like 3 or 4 people on day one.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. There's gonna be some dudes that you've seen before and some dudes that you haven't seen before. Some bigger, like I said, some really big guys and some not so big guys coming in. I don't know what the smallest guy weighs yet, but I know there's some guys that are probably 70 or 80 in the bracket. And then I know there's some dudes that are way bigger than
70 or 80. Yeah,
exactly. So, like I always do, the only thing I would do would be separate like teammates from first round matches and stuff like that. But we're just gonna randomize it. So I'm not gonna put like a seed together of this thing. And I put everybody's name public now this time too. That way, with big flyers with their face on it. That way, if they drop out, people have to ask them where they went.
The new way of keeping people in.
I switched it. I went from not telling people so people wouldn't drop out. So we're just going to announce everybody now with your face everywhere. And if you don't compete, people will be like, "What happened to Isaac?" It's like, what happened?
What did happen?
Interesting. Interesting.
Paper trails on some folks.
Those guys that dropped out on me on the last day, now you could be easily just found out about, and I don't have to tell on you. Some of your favorite grapplers have no-showed tournaments before for various reasons. Oh, thank you, man. I made those flyers myself, by the way. I did all that. Like I
They
said,
have looked magnificent, sir.
huh? Thank you.
They have looked
Thank
magnificent.
you. I've been trying to do more stuff like that, man. Trying to figure out what.
Jump in this creative side.
I mean, I like being creative, but it takes time. Like once I had the template, then now it's getting
Right.
the images from guys that are good and taking the background out of it and stuff like that. It's simple plug and play. But to find that background, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool background.
Yeah.
And then I put it up, I built it one way and sent it to Mandy without any before I got the picture of a person on it. And then when I tried to put the person's picture on there, it's like, this is retarded. It's not going to work. Yeah. So then I had to change it to what you see, where it's kind of staggered in a different
Oh,
way.
I know. Yeah.
So that's like 3 hours to get
Yeah.
the first one.
I was gonna say you can finish all that, do all that, and you look over and you're like, oh well, there went my Tuesday.
Yeah. But
Great.
I'm happy to be trying to work on some of that stuff myself now, because until now I would normally just not, and it wouldn't happen unless somebody else did it. It wouldn't get done. I wouldn't step up myself and try to be creative. And just
The consistency is the
made
hard part.
myself, right?
Yeah.
The fact that I've made myself do more, I'm doing it. And it's not bad. Like, I don't think those are like world class or whatever, but I'm always my worst critic. But people are liking it, like you said. Thank you again to Chris there, thinking it was dope. It's giving people a thing to share. They're talking about it. We're getting the link out more, which is going to be live on my YouTube channel.
Paying out $2,000 to whoever wins.
$2,000 to one person in the day for 4 matches. I think that's pretty good, man. I can't really do much more than that right now. We would love to, but I think this is a nice scale up from where we've been.
$2,000 is a good day's work.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're not knocking as I'm saying, we're not the number one money tournament in the world or whatever, but we're doing as much as we can. I think it's enough to get, like you see, to draw out some people that want to come and compete for it. So it's gonna be pretty dope. If you're interested, we have all the competitors almost listed now. I got a couple more guys I got to get the picture plugged in from to get their flyer posted. You can go look and see who they are. Some of them do and don't have like social media profiles you can follow, but go in there, check them out, look at them, follow them, find out who they are. Go ahead and start picking some favorites and stuff. It's underscore between mid and south and classic. So mid_south_classic on Instagram. Got the flyers on there, some other posters. We're going to start posting little clips from old Mid-South on there to give like context to what we were doing or whatever. We've had the combat jiu-jitsu world champion Marion Tinsley come through and win our tournament. Elbow Genies came through and win our tournament. Chase Hanlon's come through and win our tournament. Lots,
Sam Barbosa.
Sam Barbosa. I don't think Sam's won one, has he?
No, that was the one with Ryan.
He did. Yeah. He won that first big guy one.
That's right.
Right. Yep. That's right. Because he got. That's right. He did. That's right.
And then there was he's been twice
in the final. Right.
That's right.
Yep. That's right. So yeah. So Zach Edwards was in it. So we've had some good dudes already come through and be in this thing, and we're looking to build it. These purple belt guys, the ones that are coming out to compete in this, especially the serious ones, whoever they might be, are going to be the black belts and stuff that you hear about in a few years, doing these same style tournaments and winning the bigger ones. And that's kind of what we're hoping to do. Is we're doing it for the culture, to get this style out there, to get these tournaments out there, and to help people in our area hopefully be able to see and do and understand what that is, and then we'll be a real player in that field, because it's right there. You know what I mean? We can do it, and everybody, we have the team, we have the coaches, we have the people, everybody that they can kind of do it. And there's other teams in the area too. That's what I'm saying. I'm not just talking about my guys, but other teams in our local area too. We got guys from like Caleb from Miller Martial Arts is going to get in there. He's a pretty tough guy. He cross trains with us a little bit or whatever, but he's from a gym that's 10 or 15 minutes up the road, and I'd love to see him come in there and throw down and maybe win it if he can. I'd be hyped for him if he did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not just trying to take all the shine or whatever. I know there's other good people around here. Maybe some of their guys can get out there and flex a little bit and make some money for themselves being a professional athlete and a professional grappler. So I think Caleb's going to bring a lot of intensity to this.
He's definitely bringing that.
He's really, really tough and really good. He's one of the guys that should be pretty high up on the favorites list if there was a seeding list. Big Riley obviously is going to be tough. Nick Creighton's coming down from St. Paul, 10th Planet. He's a little bit smaller than some of the other guys, I believe. But I think that just makes him dangerous because he's knowing what he's coming into.
Yeah.
He knew it's absolute and doesn't care. So that makes that, so stuff like that.
South Dakota Chris is looking lean.
Chris, but he's just so low key, the international man of mystery. I'm excited to see what he may be able to do in a competition like setting. He's going to step out from being the head ref at the PGF to competitor dude guy. Kevin Church from 10th Planet Jacksonville, a purple belt, really, good. I think he's an amateur MMA fighter still. But
is he still amateur? Yeah, I knew he recently had a fight.
He's pretty a higher level amateur at this point, though.
He's one of the C's in the thick, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's large. He's a big, strong dude. He's going to be really, really tough to handle. He comes from a good camp. Jacksonville sent someone to each tournament that's done pretty good, and they always bring good skills with whoever they send up here to our tournament. So I know Kevin's going to be pretty tough. Who else? There's some dudes I don't know that hit me up really fast that are local in Georgia, South Georgia area, purple belts that haven't really been out on tournaments that I've seen very much of them, but they're eager to get their name out there now because people know. Everybody, the internet has brought jiu-jitsu and higher level jiu-jitsu ideas to people all over the place. So these purple belts in small towns now are like, hey, I'm ready to come see if I can do this thing and
come flex this thing I've been working on. Yeah.
They're their top guy from where they're at, so
right.
I know what I was saying about with that little regional like championship idea to start building and stacking it up or whatever. We've got one guy flying in from pretty far, but I don't think many people are traveling outside of the Southeast region.
Couple hours, yeah. Everybody's coming.
Florida, Georgia, Alabama, I think Tennessee, maybe a couple people from the Carolina. I have to look at the exact thing, but most of the people are coming from Georgia.
Yeah,
so it's a spread out. It's not our guys. We don't have a single person in the 16-man bracket, so nobody is my guy.
Yeah, no direct teammates or
anything. I don't have any, like, we're not there yet. So eventually I'd love to have someone from my school win every one of them, and that we do, but
let it just become a flex.
I mean, it's competition, right? And if it ends up being like a flex, then that's what it is.
Well, I think that also too, like you run the possibility, what we've talked about is being able to have the duels that go between you and Ironclad, you and Decatur, Atlanta, like doing stuff like that. Yeah.
We got to hit them up.
We need to do that soon with them because that was fun.
Coming for you. Birmingham, Ironclad.
Hey, you got to have both Elkin brothers.
Y'all thought I forgot because I did, but I've remembered now. And so we're going to be there 2022. 10th Planet Perry is going to take over Ironclad Wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu. We're just going to take it. We're going to teach them wrestling this year. So that's how it's going, son.
Front headlock for days.
No, but dude, when they came over here and did that team duel, that was one of the funner nights of like.
I think it's one of your higher performing videos on the channel.
Is it? I haven't looked at it in a while.
The people loved it. I remember that.
Yeah, it was fun. That's what I mean. It's like it was really fun in that way. I didn't really dig into the stream very much of it, but I just enjoyed the vibe of the room, the energy where they all were competing hard, and everybody was being friendly and cool or whatever. We were all familiar, but definitely nobody wanted to lose. So I really enjoyed that, and I look forward to being able to do that again with them or with other people that have teams that want to come over and do it.
Team duels are fun.
Maybe set up a freaking set of weight classes, almost like the UFC roster or whatever, as much as you can, 3 or 4, and bring them up at white belt or blue belt or whatever, almost like a quintet in some ways, but not with a max weight limit. just make them have a weight person, like a high school wrestling team, but with less weights. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you get team, kind of like the PGF perhaps scoring, but it's for the team, and then overall the team may get some money or whatever, or just for funsies, whatever. Something like that would be cool, right? You get the
That
choke,
would
your
be
team
cool.
gets 6, you get a break, your team gets 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah. End of the night, who's got the most
whoever
points?
got the most
Yeah.
out of these 6 weight classes.
You get a pizza party.
Total score wins. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Ice cream too. That's a good idea. I like that.
See, I'm full of them.
That's why we just keep talking, because we're just making up stuff as we go.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We got good ideas. At least
kind of my whole business model.
Yeah. It's like, oh, nope, that one didn't fit. Let's go. Next. Yeah, and dude, some of the content I think that we'll be able to bring to people from this PGF season is going to be a little unique than what other people said.
Yeah,
I've seen before. If you're into the VR world and the Oculus or whatever, you get the 360 videos are going to come out a little bit here. I'm not sure exactly what the capabilities are going to end up being with that, but we're gonna definitely have some stuff where you'll be able to somewhat
tentatively what the idea is I'm gonna have, and I like Keelan and I have talked about this, is we're gonna have it be able to where you are like sitting at the commentator
bleachers.
table.
Okay.
And it'd be like you were sitting there next to him. So like you're not gonna be able to see any of the stream, and like you'll be in one fixed position, but it's kind of the cool factor of like, yo, that's like I could sit here and watch Scaff talk to Lindsay. Like
Scaff, yeah.
Right. So just kind of cool playing with the technology. I think it's gonna be fun and interesting.
Yeah, that's what I think too. As I'm saying, if you're into that kind of thing, then it would be cool to have people check it out and see what it looks like and what the feel is of it, and then start dabbling with moving it around a little bit if that's what's on the table yet or whatever. Because at Mid-South, we're going to try to do something similar. So the PGF is going to help us understand that and be ready to use some of that technology going into the Mid-South. So
start bringing jiu-jitsu into the metaverse.
Bro, we're doing some weird stuff. Y'all are doing a lot more weird stuff than I am, but I'm here for the ride and like learning as we go. Definitely what we're doing. I'm gonna make a dream NFT and make bank. I just feel it. I don't even know what that means yet, but
everything will be an NFT one day. One day, your traffic ticket, your movie ticket, everything will be an NFT, and it'll be the technology that drives it. But just like everything out there that people can own that's in the physical world, like a movie ticket or something like that, that can hold value outside of just being a movie ticket. Same thing with an NFT. Right now, it's in that hype art world, and I think that's what everybody's experiencing and seeing. It's cool. It's fun. I've been off in that wormhole. I could rattle everybody's ears off for 2 or 3 hours. But if you're bored and want to check one out, the Drew Weatherhead's
tell me 3 reasons. Tell me your top 3 reasons I should go check out Drew's stuff. And then
first off, they sold out in 5 days. In the first week, they sold out in 420 unique NFTs that have different variations of rare ability. And then the other reason is because the Discord is something that you can get into without owning the NFT right now. And that's where everybody's having conversations about the project. And I've learned a lot about NFTs in there going through the whole project. And the third reason is just because Drew's a pretty cool cat. I've known him loosely in the circles, kind of like been around some of the circles, like you said, like met him maybe once, I think. But he also genuinely seems like he's trying to do this for the culture, not just himself. This isn't a money grab. He's not trying to just like, I'm going to get super wealthy off this. Yeah, he might, but the way that I was thinking the same thing, like you were saying with jiu-jitsu, when you hear somebody talk about something, it's like, oh, they're saying the same thing I am. Cool. I'll keep going down this path. Like a month ago, I was already deep off in the weeds trying to figure all this stuff out. And I happened across Drew's project, and it's helped me immensely in my project to figure out how to set it up. And like inside that community, everybody's like talking back and forth about their projects, other projects. So like if you want to get educated about it, find a project you believe in like this one and go get in the Discord and just pay attention.
And that was 3?
That was 3, I think. Okay. Maybe it was 5. I don't know. Counting is not my strong point.
We do math on the Dream Show often. Got to keep you sharp. Make sure you're doing your stuff. Yeah. So, what would you say? So then, what about the person who now is trying to go and I go look at this thing and it's like, man, there's this picture of this ape, and this dude, he wants $10,000 for it. What's
right?
He paid $300 for it last week. Why is it worth anything more than that?
So depending on the different rayability and things like that, like it's the value gets determined by the community, and the community is like buying things up. So if it started out at, say, the floor price, well, as they got bought up, like supply and demand, like the price went up, and then he had it price structured out as to like, as you got above a certain number, they became more rare or the less common ones. And those went up in price as well. And that's to like drive the floor price up and create a market. So then once everybody marks off like, okay, we're going to hold these at this value, which they're going to have other things attached to them other than this. But right now it has unlockable content that's like content from Drew and other like from his store. There's discounts and stuff like that, but also holding an NFT will get you access to like camps or things that they're going to put on for NFT holders. And there's a lot of different companies that do it that way. So like that's kind of where the value is coming from. Now, as far as like you go in there and you see one for like $10,000, sometimes people have just gone in and they've set it to like, all right, 1 ETH. So I've put in $400 or I've put in $40 or whatever I put in. Now I'm just setting it and forgetting it. And then whatever the community does, I'll come back later. If somebody buys it for 1, then great. I just made, a couple $1,000s off of an investment. But then like, there's going to start being like the trade value of like the art value of one of like, oh, well, this one has the camo belt and only 7% of them have that. And, I have one of the only of that 7%. And so that's where it's driving like in the art world. That part, I don't necessarily 100% understand, but we'll get somebody on here who does and can. But like, that's
next week we'll try to sit down and get Drew to run it down with the Dream folks if he wants to give us some information, give us some education. Because again, I'm ignorant about it. I've looked it up, and
it's the contracts that are on the back end of it that's valuable.
I understand generally what we're working with, but technology is really hard for me to drop serious cash down, real money.
If you want to invest in Web3 right now, it's some sort of an NFT project or buying things like Ethereum because they need stuff like that for the gas and things that they have to pay for to process these transactions. If you're investing in one of those 2 areas, then that'll probably cover you to kind of ride the wave of Web3 as it becomes a thing. And that's just what I've come to understand over the last like year of this wormhole.
Very interesting stuff going into the future. A lot of things that you don't know can change. I guess is a little scary, and sometimes people don't want to jump on things, and then all of a sudden you're left behind. Like the .com boom or whatever for people who are old enough to know what that is. A lot of people made a lot of money, and then the people who got in a little bit too late lost a bunch of money trying to jump in and gather some of that hype. So it's definitely, I think now, almost to the point for sure where you definitely need to be strategic with what you're jumping into, because I've definitely seen a bunch of these ape pictures being marketed out by a bunch of different people, even in just the jiu-jitsu world, so to say. So what value that holds going forward really is interesting for me to see, And like you said, I get getting in on the ground floor like that early, being one of the early adopters of it. Like for instance, yourself when you got in on like the early day one.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, having started later than everybody else, kind of as the drop happened, it looks kind of crazy to invest that much, into one of those specific kinds of things.
I think it's going to depend on what the back end service is, which that's yet to be determined inside the group right now. And I think that's what you'll pay attention to when you're looking at projects is what is their intention on the back end? Like,
So
what are they going to do with it?
So then right now you didn't buy anything technically, but the ability to maybe be a part of something later.
Yeah, I mean, technically you bought into a market within a community. So like I was paying attention to the Discord and everything for probably like 2 weeks before I made the decision that I was going to buy in. And like I went in with the money in hand that like was money that I was willing to just part ways with.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm saying.
So like that's if you're playing this game, lose like it's money you're gonna like go ahead and lose it in your head.
Right. And so that's what I was saying is like I want to understand more about I guess the flippers and the market and selling and what the value is. Why? What gives you
that market will collapse. That market is one that's just built on a bubble that everybody's run into a gold rush.
So
and
that's what I'm saying. I really feel like I may have missed.
Watch the technology
drop. That's paying attention now to look for something that'll be easy adopting early enough still. That way I don't just completely miss out on whatever it is.
Technology rarely, if never, goes backwards. So if you follow the technology and get in front of the technology, usually that's your sure way.
Yeah, as long as we don't get like EMP'd or something. And
I mean, the only thing that's going to stop this is a EMP, nuke, or a comet. But hey,
in which case,
that's always a risk, though, right?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Egghead said he was burned by baseball cards in the 90s, so he's not interested at all. Hey, I get it. My wife was in antiques, and so like I can show you a whole bunch of stuff that's worth $10,000 that nobody will buy. So like, the only thing that matters is if you have something that people want to buy.
Conceptually, I dig it, and if there was something I could see attached to it now that I understood, I could obviously I could understand it better. But right now, the abstract part of it is kind of, I guess, the baseball card thing. Me too, man. I had so much stuff. And then I was kind of, I just traded it for the people I liked. I didn't really, at a certain point, I realized I was like, there's no value in this crap. So it was like, yeah, I'll give you this one.
But see, there isn't, but there is. With the right one, there's still a market out there for that stuff.
There could
be. Like I said, you have to have a buyer. So if you don't have a buyer, you don't have a market.
Right.
And that's what I think is what I mean when I'm saying is like the back end of these is what matters. Is what am I selling to you? Mm-hmm. Is it what is the contract? It's being able to write contracts between two people that get upheld and executed on the internet the way that you wish it would.
So can you add something to that thing that you have to sell to me?
Yes. So like it's open. Like if I have it and I build an NFT and I sell everybody NFTs and I go, I want 7.5% of every single time that thing sells for whatever value it sells for. So if I sell it to you for $30, I get 7.5%. If you sell it then for $700,000, I get 7.5%. And this is the way that artists and all that whatnot will probably be the first adopters is they're gonna get paid through that chain. It's the same thing. It's becoming the new bond. It's becoming the new way that you can front end fund a company. It's becoming the way that it's how you can write contracts on the internet and they get executed without there having to be any middleman. And there will be a bank version of this. There will be the people version of this, like person to person, and there will all come with variabilities of difficulty. So like the less difficult it is, the probably more freedoms and more things that you're giving up, which means more transaction fees, more people, more hands in the pot. But if I wanted to, you and I could send you $40,000 and you could send me $40,000, and there would be nobody between that transaction but you and me. And that's what you're investing in is the technology that's pushing all of that forward. There's a little art market that's like kind of gotten cool and like we've been able to like make a couple billionaires off of it or millionaires off of it. But I don't think that that's what's going to stick around.
Right on. Right on. Something to look into going forward.
Yeah, some non-jiu-jitsu stuff.
Yeah, we Renaissance men do all kind of stuff.
Anything else? Any more people you want to thank or?
No, I guess not. Dude, just excited, new year, ready to, feel that energy, trying to build that, keep it moving. Um, gonna really try to, make it a strong year for myself and the team and everything. And with the mistakes and the non-mistakes and the things we did right of last year, looking to make that, jump, I guess you would say, forward to whatever that looks like when we hit progression. You know what I mean? But I think we're prime for like some stuff to happen around us that'll be really, really cool. That's like the next level of what we've been working on. Because we really did a lot of the foundation work in 2021. We did a lot of leg work on a lot of different things that now I think we're going to be able just to do without that struggle having to be around everything that we're trying to do. Because last year, every time we tried to do something, we had to figure out how to do it. Like,
Right.
and so now we know. And that's the thing, is like, I'm not looking to add on new complicated projects. I think I have the few things that are really going to be good for me right now, with the school obviously being the main primary uh, engine for everything that we're doing. And then obviously doing the shows and stuff like this are really cool. We have the tournament, which is a growing into a nice thing that could be something. And if we push it the right way. And then obviously the camp in Costa Rica takes up a good significant chunk of stuff. And so just having it set up and knowing that it's a thing I can do, I don't need to add another like thing to check off on my
Another layer. Yeah.
right.
More work.
Like I looked at it, and that's what I was thinking. Like towards, at the end of the year, like you look back and you think about it, and it's like I did. I have this school, I have this tournament, I have this camp, seminars. I have guys that want to like affiliate under me and have their schools be under an affiliation under me and of some sort,
Yeah.
because so it's a lot of really cool things that I hope to happen, that are happening. Maybe not the way that I necessarily
It might look different, but
wanted.
it's
Yeah, exactly. It's
you
not what
got what you asked for.
I got
Yeah.
exactly what I'm asking for, and
Right.
not the way that I necessarily thought or wanted it to be. But man, it's working. Like the things are working, and it's true what a lot of the people say. It's a 5-year overnight success or whatever. It's the long play that we're trying to work on, and now we're pretty much in that intermediate zone. I feel like on some of this stuff we've done a lot of that beginner work, and we're not gonna waste as much time with a lot of that. So I think I look for a lot more efficiency in everything that we do this year. Not just our jiu-jitsu, but in everything. Stop wasting time and space and people's energy and everything like that. Let's cut it down, get what we got to get done, be happy, and then do that. We don't really need to conquer the world per se. We got our own that we're doing, and everybody's doing good. And when it levels up, then we can add on more. We'll keep stacking it as that. We'll build from the bottom up. Not the top down, so to say. Uh, that's how it's going to work, and that literally just takes time. It just takes time to find the right people to come in and do the stuff, to have the ideas, or to have the capabilities to do something. A lot of times people stop because they run out of information, and they don't have a next thing. They don't know what to do anymore. And so that's where a good mentor or a good friend or a good partner or a new set of eyes can be really good for you. And because they can see what you don't see, they can check some of those blind spots and stuff like that. So it's good to have a group of people around you that don't always agree with everything, and that are looking out for the overall best interest. And I really really hope that I did a good job of putting the right people in the right places last year, because I think I had some of my stuff out of order, and it caused me to do way more stuff than I needed to do, because I didn't put the right people in the right places sometimes. So now I think having the benefit of that hindsight and having kind of my aces in their places, so to say, I think things are going to go a lot smoother. In which case means the level up will happen on its own.
Right. Now you just have to do the thing.
Just keep doing the things.
Right.
Like I said, these tournaments or whatever and stuff are getting easier. The camps getting easier. The classes are getting easier. We just got to look to grow the gym, and that's the next phase. Finding a suitable sized place for us to go to now is what maybe my bigger focus of this year is going to be.
And maybe like be able to provide like the whole thing that you've always wanted to do is like a little bit more than just the jiu-jitsu mat, like
Yeah,
like a whole like
a
facility.
little more of the whole thing, and that takes that's taking some time, and then the
It
location.
takes time, money, people.
Yeah, and the space, right? That's the biggest thing here in Perry. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of buildings that would be able to hold what we need available right now because they're all full.
Right.
So people are building and different things like that, and so you guys kind of wait for somebody to move out or move up or whatever. So that's what we're looking at right now. Do we need to build the place? Do we need to buy a place? Just really like not wanting to rush and make any bad decisions just because we're in a hurry. So we're trying to go ahead and make those plans for the future now with a lot of like forethought and hoping for the right decisions to make it easy. Like I said, as long as make it the easiest way that it's going to work. It doesn't have to be this big complicated machine that's making millions of dollars or whatever. It's just got to make enough and be working enough to do enough. And that's what's going to make it go for everybody. So yeah, man, just shouts out to everybody that's staying on board, man, and rocking with me and ups and downs and the swings and helping me figure it out when I don't know what's going on, and let me make the mistakes and still staying in there and stuff like that, because we're all working on learning and growing and making this thing better. Obviously, thank you to the Musgrove Trial Firm, man. Buddy helped tremendously this last year. His support for all the stuff that we did made it possible in a lot of ways. So really, that's why I shout him out so much. And so if anybody else is interested in like supporting the things that we do, we're looking for like some sponsors for the show. We'll give you shout outs. I'll do like ads for the shows and the tournaments. We got a bunch of different things that are available for you guys. So if you like what we're doing and if you want to support us, let's have a conversation. We'll work together. We're not trying to rob anybody. We want to create value for each other and see everybody level up, and along that way, Isaac, Blind Lincoln Productions, Turnkey Connections Group, the Daily Stack, the Wandering Grappler. This man is wearing a bunch of hats, so he's can't knock the hustle, man. We're just trying to see what works and what's going to be the best and most, efficient and right thing to do within this world. This is the world that we love, and this is what we want to operate with. So thank you all for allowing us to do that here at the Dream Show Live.
Word.
Squares.